Good morning and welcome back to the Upzone, where understanding politics is made simple. We are your two hosts. I am Tisha S. Waddell, former city councilwoman for the 3rd District in the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Mr. Elmer Floyd, former House Representative for the 43rd District in the state of North Carolina. How goes on, Mr. Floyd?
So far, so good, so good so far. And Madam Waddell, it is raining, and my landline has problem when it rains and snow. So I am truly blessed today. I'm good.
I
I
can
thank you for
dig it. I
asking.
can dig it.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
asking.
Absolutely. Mr. Floyd, it's been a very interesting week. It seems
Tell
like
me about it.
some people
Tell me
may,
about
I
it.
know, I know. Some people may think it's been a slow news cycle, but I'll tell you what, we've got a very exciting show today. We've got a guest, Carmela McKellar Smith. She's coming in to talk to us today about the Region 6 project. We've also got a really, we're going to ask the question and hope to get it answered. Um, where do the citizens stand in our municipal government? We're going to ask that question. We're going to present some information. We're going to talk about some recent decisions that have been made, and we're going to see. We're going to leave it to you to decide where do the citizens stand. But Mr. Floyd, before we get into that, what announcements do you have for us today?
Well, Tish, whether you know it or not, this
Hmm.
is the CIAA weekend.
Yes, it is.
And the East Coast is going to be blanketed by African American people attending the CIAA. And the Fayetteville State University was what we call like in a bystander.
Hmm.
So the tournament is from the 24th to 28th in Baltimore, Maryland. And
Okay.
if you have not left yet, you're gonna be in a traffic jam
In a
because
traffic jam,
you're
baby.
gonna have more minorities up on the East Coast attending the CIAA. So if you plan on going, it's going to be today, tomorrow, with the final game for the ladies on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and the men at 4 o'clock.
Or you
And
can just do like the rest of us and stay at home and watch it on TV if you
watch
don't
the
want to
oh
be in
yeah,
that. Yeah.
and it's going to be on ESPN Plus, so
Hmm.
you can view it there. And the other announcement we have again as we did before the the Democrat County Commissioner, which is going to be on March the 21st. But you got to register, T. You got to register to come to our convention because the site is a secret. Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know. So if anybody asks you now, you make sure that you tell them that they have to register because the site is confidential. Then we
Okay.
had a Dogwood Festival, which is April the 24th to the 26th. And
Okay.
you know, but the last announcement, Teach, which I'm somewhat confused about,
I'm
and
going to
and
put
I
up the
couldn't
picture
under,
while you're talking about that. Go ahead.
and I couldn't understand a person with the sheriff credibility there would send use this flyer to assist in his campaign, and it sort of offended uh, what's his name, Ernest Wright,
Hmm.
because the sheriff Bruce Butler passed away some 4 or 5 years ago,
He did.
and
And
why
Sheriff
this
Moose Butler, if I'm not mistaken, is the sheriff who appointed Sheriff Ennis Wright to his position. Is that accurate?
that is correct, and that's why I was wondering why would Morgan, with all of his credibility that he had, that he would use this flyer and to help him win election. I wish that a
Well, and
flyer
Mr.
like
Floyd, let's
this.
for the people who might not be looking at the flyer, they may be listening to us but not able to see. It's a flyer. It's a rack card with an image of former Sheriff Moose Butler, and there's a quote on sitting beside him that reads, "Jonathan Morgan has what it takes to be sheriff of Cumberland County, Sheriff Earl Moose Butler." And the confusion comes in because if Sheriff Moose Butler appointed Sheriff Wright, when would he have made this quote? When would he have
Well,
given this quote? I think it's worth asking the question. But Mr. Floyd, I'm going to stop in just a moment. But there's something else that was very interesting about this to me that I don't know if you brought it up to me or not. But look at this side. Look at this side of the flyer. You have um, all the you got a lot of the black heavy hitters on this side of the rack card. So you've got Senator Val Applewhite, who is, in her mind, a heavy hitter. You've got Mayor
Well,
Mitch Colvin. You've got even Senator, who is this right here? I can't see. Who is that?
that that is Senator Devere, which
Yeah,
which
that's
which
that
both he
right.
and Val Applewhite indicated. Well, Senator Applewhite mentioned that she did not give the person the authority to use her picture,
Well, it's too
and
late, once and this
well,
is the damage that's done. And I appreciate her coming out saying that. And I'll even say, you see Demetria here. Demetria is
mhm,
huge in the space of justice, especially where our youth are concerned, and her image is used here. And I just wonder, there are moments. I'll give you a brief story. When I ran for office, I put up pictures on my website, lots of pictures from my time in service. I didn't put any quotes to accompany them, none of those things. Truly by accident, because I really liked the picture. A picture of myself and another young man and Mitch Colvin's daughter ended up on my website. When that ended up on my website, I didn't even think anything of it, because it did not connect for me that that's who she was, because it was a brief encounter in Washington D.C. when I was at NLC. So I'm posting the picture because it spoke to the breadth of work that I had done. But she sent me a message and asked me to remove the picture from my website. And with no hesitation, I did so, because you don't, if there's any chance that you could be misrepresenting somebody's position in favor of you, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And so I wiped her picture immediately. And I apologized to her, because I did not want to at all insinuate or create some intimation that she was Team Tisha over Team Mitch. And so I think that this goes way beyond that, because you can't delete this picture. You can't walk this back. This is there. And it's in the community and it's circulating, and it's very unfortunate. But Mr. Floyd, nonetheless, I think it just gives some questions to be answered. I think people should be asking,
well,
did these people give permission? How did you come to reflect that they are supporting you on your rack card?
well, and one thing that the sheriff mentioned was that information about Moose Butler was passed on to him by I'm gonna say he mentioned that he did not want to reveal that person's name, but
Hmm.
nevertheless, you know, I tried to stay away from taking pictures with people because you don't know where it may pop up later.
Let me
Uh,
tell you something. I'm very protective of my image at this point,
yeah.
very much so. I'm also very protective of my handshakes and my hugs, Mr. Floyd. When I first ran for office, Sister Ray told me, "Don't let them touch you." And when she
Hmm.
told me that, I knew exactly what she meant. She meant, don't let them put their hands on you. The next thing that I learned very rapidly, and I learned this from Mabel C. Smith. When I was running for office the first time, I was up at the polls, and a bunch of people were trying to take pictures with her, and she was telling a lot of people no. And when she came down the line and she introduced herself to me, or well, I was introduced to her. I asked her if we could take a picture, and not for the purposes of posting it online, but because she's an icon in the space that I was looking to enter into. And so she asked me, well, tell me who you are and tell me about yourself. And when I told her, she put her arm around me and we took a picture. But I learned from her, question before you say cheese.
Well, well, let me say this to you, and I failed to mention that, this is Black History Month. And
Hmm.
then one of the person I wanted to mention was Mavis Smith. She is an icon in our community. And
That's right.
Aaron Johnson and Marvin Lucas,
Another
who
icon.
another, and then we had Ben Brown, which was one of these city managers when we first started receiving some representation in city government. But before we bring on our guest, I learned from a person, a person who you wouldn't think that look at politics, and he said to me, he said, Floyd, we have Black representation throughout government here in Cumberland County, but it
Hmm.
doesn't mean anything.
Not a
This was
single
a
thing.
non-person. This was a person who is not really political, but he vote in every election. And he said, Just because we have Black representation throughout doesn't mean that we are making progress.
Doesn't
But
mean a
anyway,
thing.
Teach, we have
Let's
a
bring
we
on
have a
Miss Smith.
guest.
She's patiently waiting in the room. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Miss Carmela. Miss Carmela, welcome to the Up Zone. Welcome, ma'am.
Good, good morning. Good morning. Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Floyd.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Good to see you this bright. No, this rainy morning.
Her
Yeah,
face
any
brightens
morning's
it.
a good morning.
That's right. That's right. So I was very eager to have Carmela come on because she is doing something that I just think is it's so big in the space of art and representation in our community, especially given the time that we're in where we're recognizing Black history makers. I want to take my hat off to a living legend, someone who has operated in this space. I know sometimes it's hard to get our flowers, but you get them, ma'am. Someone who has operated in this space of advocacy in our community for a very long time, and and believe it or not, is not indigenous to the community and fights harder sometimes than the people that are, Mr. Floyd. But I will say that she's got a space now on the corner of Hay Street and Green Street. And it's in the building. I can never remember the name of the building, but it's on the 100 block of Hay, right next to the market house. And she has procured a space where she is giving room for the stories of, of BIPOC artists. And for people who are unfamiliar with what that terminology means, it means Black and Indigenous people of color. And I just want to take a moment to allow Miss McKellar Smith to come and tell us all about the Region 6 project, how it came to be, what some upcoming art exhibits are, and what we can expect out of the space. But before I turn this over to her, I want to tell you, Mr. Floyd, that when she finishes talking to us, we are going to listen and then we are going to come back later and we're going to talk about some of the disparities and discrepancies between what we see in the artistic space as to how our city is supporting these spaces. So, Mr. Floyd, I would like for you to welcome our guest, Miss Carmela. And Miss Carmela, you have the stage. Tell us all about the Region 6 project.
Yes, ma'am. Well, good to be here, and thank you for honoring me with the opportunity to share. And the first thing I will say is that let me make one very important correction. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
I did not know
My
that.
my family goes back on both sides, my maternal, my paternal, more than 6, 7 generations here in
You say, don't
Cumberland.
let the accent fool me, huh?
Well, you know what? I'm still claiming New York. I'm clinging, but I am so proud to be a daughter of this dust.
Yes.
So
And that
so
makes sense. That makes sense
oh yeah.
because so many of our people that hailed from North Carolina migrated to New York. That was the case with my family. They migrated to Buffalo from St. Paul's, and
Mhm.
then we see this coming home, this
Yes.
coming home. Yeah, yeah,
Reverse migration.
yes,
We're here. We're coming.
hmm
We're coming, and we're coming strong. I pray.
yes, yes.
Um, so the Region 6 project. Um, Region 6 is a play on the term the sixth region. The African Union, in embracing the African diaspora, the African Union has 5 regions for economic, social development purposes. The continent, much like the European Union, is divided into 5 regions for the purpose of supporting one another in growth and development, post colonization. And in that space, the African Union said the African diaspora will always be a part of this continent. And so they defined a 6th region. The 6th region are all of the people of the diaspora wherever you sit in the world.
Mm.
So to me, um, that means a lot, in spaces and places where people seek not to embrace us, to make us theirs, to accept us in spaces as being theirs, there's a place and a space that says you will always be ours.
Yes.
That matters. And so, as you know, Tisha, this is, I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in call. And my call is to justice work. I didn't know that when I came here. I didn't know that when I came into the space. But part of the blessing for me is having grown up in the Black church, in the AME Zion Church, on the cusp of liberation theology, on this cusp of, where we learned our history as a part of our everyday. The value of our histories. And so I came here and my justice work started in student advocacy, really recognizing and seeing, and that's where you and I first connected, in a space of advocating on behalf of our children in the public school system. And we recognize that's been more than a decade ago. So we've done that. And that advocacy has taken me into spaces of working on assignments in food insecurity. And then one of the big things I recognized is how, because I had that, how deficit we are in recognizing, accepting, celebrating the culture and histories of Black, Indigenous, and people of color in this community. We continually see others uplifted, and I have absolutely zero problem with that. Celebrate history, celebrate all history, because until we can tell a full history, we can't come together as one, because they're broken pieces. There's a brokenness in the storytelling. So we came into this space. It has grown in the little teeny time, but what I recognize in this is that it's been a faith walk. Absolutely. 'Cause I didn't understand. First of all, I was like, Lord, you sure you want me to do this? Because I don't understand why you want me to go and do this. But all right. Because you know what? Smart people don't say no when the Lord calls you to do.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Be obedient. So I came in and I didn't know, but first we started with one floor and we were going to do this thing because what I recognized, I've been in this building and it's called the Self-Help Building, an amazing
you.
organization
That's
that's
it, the
doing
Self-Help
work
Building.
across the state to ensure that they have inclusive spaces that support small businesses, and beyond the state, they do this work. So being in this building for several years, I recognized that there was this whole thing called an arts district being developed downtown Fayetteville. And one of the things I started to see was what I did not see. I wasn't seeing us. I wasn't, and that was hard because in the time that I've been here, my husband and I relocated our family here, and I brought my sons into a space where I could not give them in this space what I believed they should have as a part of their growth experience.
I
And
want to
that
ask
is
you a
this
question about
connection.
that.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I want to ask you a question about that. So when you talk about you not seeing us, sometimes, Carmela, people hear that, and Mr. Floyd, I know that you can relate to this. Sometimes people hear that, even when you think about it politically, and they ask the question, and typically it's not people that look like us. They ask the question, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why do they need to look like you? Can you just give a little context to, especially speaking as a mother who was bringing her children here from somewhere as culturally diverse as New York City into a space where now there's not as much representation? Why is that important? Why is being able to see yourself reflected in the culture of your community important?
Oh, absolutely. I raised two amazing young Black men. Um, and they were fortunate in that, you know, they had my husband and I, and they were in a home that was surrounded by the works, the literature, the experiences. My husband and I were extremely intentional about that. But when it's important that children see and know and understand, oh, I can do that because look at this. I can do that because he did this. I can do this because she did that. Oh, wait a minute. Omar Ibn Said, enslaved here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Islamic scholar. So centuries, um, historically, people, Black people, let's call it what it is, Black people have done amazing things throughout civilization. And when we don't tell our children that these people have created pathways for them, they don't understand the possibilities. They
Absolutely.
don't see the beauty. That
The
we have an
possibility. Yeah.
exhibit coming up. It's this young gentleman. I'm so excited. His name is Al Bowman. He's curating an exhibit here in June. So y'all put it on your calendar.
We
It's
have the
called
flyer. We'll be
Smile.
posting the flyer on our social media. That's in February. That's your February event. So when you get that,
That's
make
the
sure you send
March
it to us.
exhibit. That, yes, I think I sent you that one. That's the
Mhm.
Lumbee Recognition Celebration. We're
Mhm.
celebrating the Lumbee tribe and their recognition by the federal government. But in June, Al is bringing an exhibit here. It's called Smile Bro. And the concept around that exhibit is that so often we see these images of Black men. So the imagery is all about Black men. We see these images of Black men, and we've been told that they're scary, we've been told that they're angry, we've been told that this. And so this concept of Smile Bro will bring this imagery of our men in their fullness, in all, you know, it will bring to this space um, this beautiful space of our men are more. And so
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see that. So we're just really trying to, you know, there will be good, bad, and ugly. There will be imagery that people don't want to see, and that's okay too.
That's art.
But we're going
That's
to bring
art.
it. That's art. That's art.
What
Well,
is,
let me,
We are
Carmela?
full.
What's the connection between art and politics? Mr. Floyd, I hear you, and you got the next question, and I'm gonna be quiet. What's the connection between art and politics?
Oh, in this moment you asked that, my sister.
Yes.
In this moment, we absolutely see the connection between art and politics. Um, Art is an expression that people have had when they could not have voice in political spaces, in um, cultural spaces, when they could not have those voices. Art was the space, whether we're talking about spirituals, because art is all of it. You know, whether we put our politics in a hymn with Swing Low Chariot or By and By, or some of those songs, whether we put our art in quilts that allowed us to understand the pathways to escape along the Underground Railroad,
The route
whether
to
we put
freedom.
our art in our hair to show pathways and roadways that will lead us to freedom. Art is integral in doing that. And now I think that people are understanding so much better the power of the arts that they're seeking to erase it
Absolutely.
and
Mr.
take
Floyd, what
away
was your
those
question?
spaces.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
hear you mentioned several times, and I'm not that familiar with the project as Tisha. I know about it, okay?
Mhm.
But you mentioned space there, uh, and you had mentioned it
Yes.
throughout, our conversation. What the space is it Is it one room, one story, one floor, two floor, three floor, or just what you? How did you define space so that we can know the usability?
Oh, yes, yes. We are, we are almost 4,000 square feet, Mr. Floyd. We have the first floor that serves as gallery space where we exhibit art. We formally, we opened our doors back in June. We actually opened on Juneteenth of 2025. That's when we opened our doors with our first exhibit. So that's on the first floor. On the mezzanine, we have two studio spaces. One studio space is occupied by a visual artist, this amazing artist. She'll be here in May with her exhibit, but she's here. So we have residencies on the mezzanine, which is the second floor. We also have photography studio space. On the third floor, we have gallery space where we have studio space, not gallery space, I'm sorry, studio spaces where we can accommodate 5 artists in those spaces. We, as of March 1st, we have 4 now. As of March 1st, we will probably be 100% occupancy in those studio spaces. Yay, yes. It's be patient, allow God to do what he's going to do. And we have a classroom space where we, there's a project up in near North Carolina Central. It's called Golden Belt. And this is a little teeny tiny model of how they do it. But when I went up for a tour of that space, there was a classroom within their facility. I mean, there are tens of thousands of square foot footage in their space, but there was a classroom in the center of this space. And I was like, what is that? And the project manager said, this is another way for artists to be able to supplement their incomes. Now, let me just also say, our artists came in here because we're doing this at a rate that will allow them to be in this space. We're not charging them $1,000 for a little room. We're not charging them that. We're a nonprofit. Let me also say that.
Yeah.
We're nonprofit. So this isn't about how much money we can make in this space. This is about how we become a resource so that these artists can occupy space in this arts district to be here to create. Many of these
Huh.
artists, this is the first time they've had studio space.
Let me ask you another question then. I thought,
Yes, sir.
sometimes, teaching we read too much and that we can't retain and recall all that we read. But I read somewhere where that the city was open a art somewhere downtown there, and I saw it. I thought I saw a person going into this art studio. Have there been any communication between that art gallery and studio? I mean, and what you all are doing, or could it not been a joint venture?
Um, okay. Um, I will say no, and I'm good with this. I'm
I don't
good
want to
with
put
it.
you no, no,
Okay.
Chris.
No,
I
no,
don't want to put you
no,
on.
no,
I
no,
know I
no,
don't want to
no,
put you on the
no,
spot.
no,
But when I
This is what
see,
happens when we
it's
don't
not a
pre-talk.
no, it's
okay,
not a spot, sir. It's not a spot.
Okay.
What I will say is that there is the Arts Council, and they're doing what they do, and the growth and development that I've seen in these years, is wonderful. But we have a different mission. We have a different mission in the work that we do and who we're trying to serve and who we're trying to include. Now, what I will say is that there are spaces and places that you can go to, and here and there you will find art that looks like me. And the thing that was frustrating to me as you asked that question was that every day I should be able to walk into spaces because we are like what, nearly 60% of the population in Cumberland County. Every day, I should be able to walk in and see images of Black, Latino, Asian, Vietnamese, whomever. But we don't see that. So they do what they do, and they will operate in those ways, but we are here to do this. So what I say to people is, in a county of 300,000 people, it's absolutely reasonable that we have more than one space. The other piece that I say is that we're different. It's like today I might be wearing my wonderful red dress, but it doesn't mean that I don't want a black dress and a blue dress
Yes.
and a pink dress. It's just, and there's room and space for all of us. And that's the bigger picture, sir, is that people
And
need to recognize that we can support
we can
more than one thing.
coexist. We can
We
coexist.
can
And I chuckled, Mr.
coexist.
Right. I chuckled, Mr. Floyd, when you asked the question, because immediately when I saw that article, which is how we ended up here, I texted Carmela immediately and I said, "What is this?" And she so beautifully texted me back and said, "I can't speak to that. I'm not very familiar with that, but I can certainly speak to the Region 6 project." And I said, "You know what? I like that." So I wanted to make sure that we made space for that. Before we let you go, Ms. McKellar, let me ask you this. What is the way that this community, besides coming to view the exhibits, what is the way that this community can support the work that you are doing with through the Region 6 project?
Oh, thank you for that. I think the biggest thing, there are a few things, and I just need to say this because it's important, the testimony. I'm sorry, it just is. This space and place was created for a moment such as this, okay? So let people come visit, but say that we matter. We're building all kinds of stuff in this county. We got a $200,000 or however much, I don't remember how much the place is up on the hill that's being built, to tell one story. We don't have that. So letting people know that, and we are a nonprofit, so letting people know that this work is important. And let me also say, we don't just do the visual arts. We have speaker series in here. We've had people come in to tell the story of the Taino people, of the Tuscarora people. We will tell the stories of all of us. So let city council, county commissioners, your state representatives, let them all know. And I have to just say in that second that Michael Colvin and Commissioner Adams have been extremely supportive. Their City Councilman Derek Thompson has come through, but we're planning to be here. What is it? We holding camp, we ain't going nowhere. And who does not do for us? I get it, I understand, but this is important. This is the first. We are 270 years old in this county. This is the first time that there has been an institution, an entity in this county reflecting the culture and history and art of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. What is that? And we're not saying
long overdue.
Right. We're not saying hand us $7.5 million. We're not saying hand us $85 million. We're not saying any of that. What we're saying is support us, make sure that we can thrive and be a part of this. We're an asset to this community. And so let the county know that you want us. Let the city know that you want us, and you want them to support us like they support the others. We're as valuable as a 250-year-old tree that gets celebrated.
Come on, girl. Come on now. Ms.
Just
McKellar, I
saying.
want to thank you. Look, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk with us. There will be
Thank
a follow up
you.
to this. There will be, because as conversations continue, we got a question about the Fayetteville Black Voices Museum in our comments. As the conversations continue in the city about Black spaces and Black art, particularly, we will bring you back so that we can get some insight from you. Because again, I know that this is really becoming an area that you are and you're developing expertise in. And so we want to make sure that we make room for the experts in our community to have those conversations. So I want to thank you personally for coming. Mr. Floyd, do you have anything you want to say or ask Ms. McKellar before we?
No, but Ms. McCullough, thank you for coming, but I want to share something with Madam Waddell once you exit. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will send
Thank
you a
you.
copy of this because I know that you are not on social media. We'll send you a copy of this so that you can share your interview wherever you may like. But most certainly, anytime you have something going on with the museum, you let us know and we will be happy to put the word out on our platform.
Thank you. And we are. Carmela is not, but we are on Facebook and we are on Instagram. So yes, we're there.
Yes.
I just prefer not to
I
be.
know. I understand. I will make sure we share this
Thank you.
information. Absolutely. And you have a phenomenal day, and we will catch you later, ma'am. Thank you.
You also be blessed. Thank
Okay, you
you.
too. Bye bye. So, Mr. Floyd,
Bye-bye.
I'm glad that you allowed me to make space for someone that I consider a friend, and like I said, a developing expert
Well,
in the space of art. What do you want to ask me?
no, geez, you know, I
I
guess
think the city needs
sometimes,
to cut her a check, Mr. Floyd. I
no,
think the
I
city
mean,
needs to be
I
cutting her a
agree,
check.
but Tish, but as African American representative, and I mentioned to you earlier in our conversation what this non-political person say. Though we
Hmm.
are in charge, you know, of many organizations within it,
Absolutely.
but we don't
Why are
see any
we not
progress.
seeing more investment in
Okay.
the things that reflect what's important to our community?
Now
Absolutely.
the
And I'll
question
say
that I
this, Mr.
have
Floyd. Go
now the
ahead.
question that I have to you, remember now, the Art Council receives some of that food, beverage, and occupancy taxes. I think they get 1%. And then on top of that, Madam Waddell, the county from its budget provide funding to them. Okay?
I do
Provide
believe
funding.
that Miss.
So my
I think
point,
Miss McKellar did indicate that she did receive some form of funding from the county commissioners. Is it all that she could use? Probably not.
no,
But
but
they have made they
my point of question of it is that remind you now, they get food and beverage taxes.
and the Arts
And the
Council doesn't
county
have to beg for that
also give
money.
them no, and they also give them money from the county general fund.
Yes,
So my question there is that it seems to me that though we are in charge, they look the other zip code will always, and I hope we talk about that today on the city council. They always look at when they vote on something, it's about generational wealth,
and
community
economic
wealth,
development and
and
economic development.
always when you see them speak,
It's
it's
about
not about
economic development.
that's what
Mr.
they
Floyd,
speak of.
do you think that it was by chance that I asked her to come and be a part of our show today? Absolutely not. I
Mhm.
believe that she needs to be a part of the conversations. The space that she is curating needs to be a part of the conversations when we talk about economic development and its artistic impact. I believe, just as I believe that the Arts Council has been supported through city and county dollars and probably state dollars as well. I believe that this space should be too. And I want to highlight the fact that, and she didn't say this, but I will say it. I want to highlight the fact that this has been a project that she has undertaken without going and begging for startup costs, without going and petitioning these bodies that may be to put dollars in the coffer. So listen, it's time for our bodies of government to just do the right thing. And when you see somebody who is doing something that is here's the word I like to use, that is sustainable without your input, make it more impactful with your input. because she has already articulated we're not going anywhere. I've never, as long as I've known her, she's been in that building for the better part of, I want to say, over 10 years before she opened this space. So she didn't just stumble into the space. The space landed for her because of her proper placement. She is taking care of what needs to be taken care of, and she is doing the work of building this project. All that is needed is the support of the community. And I will say this, I would like for our governing bodies to lend my support to her through my tax dollars. I don't know about you, Mr. Floyd, but I would like
Madam
that to
Waddell,
happen.
Madam Waddell, I appreciate you today. But you remember one of the problems that government has, this local government, is one thing: who is going to be in charge?
In charge. You better say it. Now, Mr. Floyd, while we're
Okay.
talking, let's look, we're going to switch gears because you want to talk about something that I think is critically important. But before we get started, I want to show some imagery. I asked you a question this morning. I said, Mr. Floyd, can you help me as I think through the city's organizational chart? I said, Mr. Floyd, I want you to help me understand this chart. So here's where we ended up this morning, Mr. Floyd. I pulled this up on the Wayback Machine, okay? The archives of the Fayetteville City Council's website, or the City of Fayetteville's website. This is from 2017. Okay? At this time, during my tenure, at the top of the org chart. Now, Mr. Floyd, for the purpose of maybe an audience member who might not be familiar with an org chart, what is an org chart? What is the purpose of it?
The flow of the flow of authority.
It's the flow of authority. Who reports to whom? So in this org chart from 2017, we see at the top of the org chart the citizens of Fayetteville. They are at the top of the org chart for the city of Fayetteville, meaning everybody under that essentially reports to the citizens. Who do they report to them through? Through the mayor and the city council. The mayor and the city council report directly to the citizens of Fayetteville. When they report to the citizens of Fayetteville, they are reporting on behalf of who? Well, the city manager, his staff, and the city attorney. You see these links. So the citizens of Fayetteville have a direct link through the city council right down to the city manager, which shows you that this right here is an area of power for the citizens of the city of Fayetteville in 2017. Here we have this veering off going into the city attorney. And the city attorney, her staff falls under her. But under Doug, under the city manager's office, we had his entire staff, okay? Now you had from the mayor and council, you had the boards and commission and PWC, which says that these two boards reported back to the mayor and council, who then reported back to the citizens. Now, Mr. Floyd, something very interesting happened. And I didn't notice it until I was preparing for a project that I was doing in school. And I said, well, look at this. Now, Mr. Floyd, I want you to tell me, just at quick glance, what is different about this organizational chart that is dated? Look, this is from February 2026. What's different about this organizational chart, Mr. Floyd? Just right fast, what you see.
Well, I'm trying to find the word, Madam Waddell.
You want me to help you?
No, but it looked like Doug is no longer employed by the city council.
Well, but that's not even the biggest jump scare to me.
But I'm not looking at the citizen. I mean, I know the citizens should be up at the top. Yeah, I know the citizens should be up at the top. But the picture that you showed me is where Doug is. Okay. Now, I don't know if the city manager is still part of the organizational chart, and that the city council, according to all, that the city council is responsible for two persons. That's the city manager and the city attorney. And the city manager do the day-to-day operation. So if you flow back up, it should be a line the city
Because remember,
manager.
remember what I said, Floyd, this was the most powerful asset. I'm gonna go back to the other picture. You see this?
Okay,
This
yeah.
was the most powerful asset that the citizens had, was the direct connection from the citizens to the city council to the city manager. This was the power play for the citizens of the city. Now we have citizens missing,
Yes,
and we have no direct connection from the mayor
but
to the city manager, or from the mayor and council reporting back to the citizens.
uh,
This org chart explains the crap that we are experiencing in our community that
but
we're getting
T,
ready to talk
but
about.
T, I think that I attended the city council meeting on Monday night. Okay,
Hmm.
and I saw we have a excellent communication team. Could you leave the chart back up in the picture,
Oh,
man?
sure, absolutely.
We had an excellent communication team. Each person that made a PowerPoint
All
presentation,
these people down
that
here,
staff,
right?
yeah, that staff person walked up to that computer, punched it in, and that person PowerPoint presentation came up. If you drop down just a little bit, I think that now just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little
Which
bit
way?
more.
Up or down?
Drop
This
that
way?
down. But I think that the staff just forgot to draw the line with the mayor and city council
Right here.
there.
Well,
I think, yeah,
did they forget that the citizens
that's
were
what I'm
a
saying.
part of the
T. I believe the staff. I believe the staff. I believe the staff in this presentation to post this in a rush. Forgot to put the citizen and forgot to draw
I'm
a
gonna give them the
line.
benefit of the doubt, Mr. Floyd, and I'm gonna believe that by the time we come back next Thursday, this is going to be corrected, and that the citizens of the city of Fayetteville will be back at the top of the organizational chart, like this. That the
Yeah,
citizens of
but
Fayetteville will be listed, and that we will see the connection between the mayor and council, the citizens, and the city manager. Until such time as next Thursday, I'm gonna give grace and believe that you are right, and it was simply an oversight.
that's T. Fleet, because I mean when I was there Monday night, I give praise and kudos to the staff because they
Hmm.
was on top of every PowerPoint presentation for 4+ hours of the city council meeting,
Hmm.
in which it took all of that time for those persons to come up and share with the city council member and us in the audience a PowerPoint presentation that could have been email that they already had in their package, that they could have just came forward and asked questions. Okay. Now we were there we were there, I think 4 or 5 hours, you
Hmm.
know, Monday night. So to me, I think that a lot of council time is spent unnecessary because we listen at presentation that were
Well, that,
already
th- th- th-
on a
th-
PowerPoint.
Mr.
Already,
Floyd,
I mean,
Mr. Floyd, what
you
did they
know,
say that the reason for the dinner meeting was to brief council members who were not up to speed on what the topics were. These
they doing it.
presentations are to brief
They
council
do.
members who are not reading the friggin' stuff in their
They're
can.
doing it.
They,
Teach. I
they
mean,
we have these
government.
long meetings because people won't read their packets, sir.
The government work. How we did in state government, so we can find out who is doing what and how things are being moved forward. What we see is a council agenda, which is good. But I think that if there is a change in policy or a policy new policy, then that person who wants that change should make that presentation and speak so we can know how changes in policies are brought forward and who brought the policy forward. But
I don't think
that's
that the mayor will want to put himself in that hot seat as always being
well,
the person bringing these things to the
but
forefront. I think that's why he
we
passes.
need to know
I
that.
know, I understand,
We need
but
to
let me
know
tell
that,
you,
T.
Mr. Flood, I just have to go back to this one more, what like the old people used to say, one more again, because I just think it's such a glaring distinction that in
It's the
2017, the
staff.
citizens of Fayetteville, I hear
It's just
you.
the staff over. I mean, I'm just saying,
Well, we
T,
know
that
that
the
we know
staff.
that the city manager tends to frequently watch our program, and so we're going to give him grace because ultimately his staff is his responsibility. We're going to give him grace, and we're going to
But
believe
he has
that
no
by next
oversight.
Thursday.
He has no oversight. The city.
Well, according to this, he doesn't.
I mean,
But according
he's
to the
just a.
charter of according to the charter of the city of Fayetteville, that is under the North
He
Carolina
has.
General Statute, he absolutely does.
But the way that is throughout the organization structure in North Carolina, We do not have a strong mayor form of government. We have a council manager form of government.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Council manager form of government. But up
right.
here, he has no relationship with the council at all.
I'm gonna put it
So
back up.
I'm just saying that the staff it just made an oversight in this presentation,
That's
you
it.
know,
That's all.
and posting of this, and I hope that the council would take back its responsibility and supervise the manager, because they're not. The city manager is really the power broker, and really don't have to worry about the council as it relates
Well,
to the
we
chart.
can, based upon this chart, though, we can confirm. Last week we talked about it appeared that Lauren Beimer was no longer with the city of Fayetteville. We can confirm that that is the case based upon this chart because it shows his position as vacant.
Well, Tisha,
You
I
know what
tell
else
you,
is interesting, Mr. Floyd? Look at this right here. Construction Management Division. What does that say for the director?
I don't know, Tisha, because I'm looking at the
It
five or
says
four projects.
vacant.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm just trying to figure out
Budget and
every project.
evaluation. Budget and evaluation. Vacant.
I thought,
Those
I
are very
thought,
important positions.
but when you look at it, Tish, I think that we have a strong governmental organization. I'm not going to say council
Oh,
manager form of
absolutely.
government. We
Absolutely.
have, because the I was when I sat through that long meeting and I saw how the people was played around, in our district, and I guess the person that made the auditor report to the city council had to go back to his prison, had to go back to wherever he came, and he made the same report up in the council meeting, prior to. He made the same long report, 20 plus minutes, and then he exited. But he said that we was in a AAA status. So,
Well, that's
you know,
usually the case, but that doesn't change the audit that has been requested by Dave Bullock. We are still waiting on the results
oh
of
yeah,
that audit. When that
oh
comes
yeah.
back clear, then we'll shut up about all the money stuff. But Mr. Floyd, somebody made a comment, and I have to read it because I agree with this. It says, but that's not why I'm reading it, because I read even ones I don't agree with.
Mm.
It says the 2026 flow chart is what it actually feels like to live here.
Well,
That's
Tish,
what it feels like to live here. Like we just here.
what
We're not even accounted for.
Well, teach I mean, what that person said is true. If I can, there was an email, I mean, there was a Facebook post from the city council meeting
Let me pull that up.
on
I'm gonna pull that
on
up.
Monday, and that's how that person feel. That's how this particular person feel, as it relates to sitting through from June and July of 25 until the 23rd, I believe it was Monday night.
Well, and
You know,
here's we jest a little bit, but we're very serious. And here's what why I mentioned this specifically is because when we look at a council that will sit in their constituents' face, hear their constituents' concerns, and then turn around and do whatever they want to do. That is indicative of the fact that this is absent. Let me go back because I
yeah.
like visual elements
Could you
are
read it?
matter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. But that is indicative of the fact that we are absent in this organizational chart. Now, here's why I say that. This is how your citizens, city of Fayetteville, are feeling about the way you are doing business. Now I'm going to read it, Mr. Floyd, and then we're going to talk about who it's about. This says nothing is worse than a politician that is a yes man slash woman that will talk out of both sides of their mouth, who will tell you something, feeding you with their false care, knowing that when you knowing misspelled that when you going to attend a meeting and they call you ahead, they want you to think they care. The entire situation is staged because the outcome has been made. You see and you hear questions being asked that directly relate to your conversation prior, situation, and concerns. The group go through the motion and do you and you know that they're playing on your intelligence. Please do not come to me calling on me with such. My vote may not keep you out, but it will never again help you win. If I am here and able to vote next election, I shall rally for the anyone else but you. I can see the forest and the trees. I have zero faith, and I certainly do not trust. This is a post that was made in response to um,
That response was to Malik Davis
Malik
vote
Davis.
on a motion before the city council. Now, as I mentioned to you before, there's two council person that's going to look at economic issues. They are going to look at economic issues because they provide community and generational wealth for the other zip code. Now, council person Hunt, that person is a smooth
You're saying
communicator.
Councilmember
Is how
Hondros?
yes, and how he
Okay.
directed the staff through the motion to approve the zoning request. Now, he was so eager that normally that motion is passed to that person that action, what district action, if you understand what I mean.
Hmm.
He didn't give Malik Davis time enough to say, he jumped and said, no, I'll make the motion. Okay. For the approval of the zoning request. Now, somebody need to help Malik Davis to understand politics. And next year, if no one opt to run, you will see my name on the ballot challenging Malik Davis. For the simple reason is that experience and common sense help in the political arena. When I look out there in the audience and I see 5 months of waiting, 5 months, Madam Waddell, are waiting for a action to take place. And no one other than the attorney, which was so fascinated to Councilperson Davis, that he didn't even see his constituents.
Hmm.
None of those constituents that he represented got up and support the zoning request.
Hmm.
None. So as a wise council person, I see no one gets up in support. That's a no vote for me. That's common sense. But Malik
Especially
Davis,
if you know that it's already in the bag and you can vote no. Remember,
yeah,
remember what Mitch and Kathy did when it came to that vote for the 7-Eleven down there near
mhm,
College Lakes. They both voted no because politically it kind of covered and encapsulated them, but they knew
yeah,
that it was still going to move forward because they talk about these things. I'll tell you what's interesting in this. You may recall when Malik Davis was first elected, I made the comment, and you guys can go back and find this. I commented something to the point of we're going to watch and see how the votes go before we decide where he sits because I suspected that he was going to be a part of the system. I suspected that because of his ties to Mitch, because he's familially linked to Mitch Colvin in the black way of family. You know what I mean when I say that, and so do
yes,
the rest of the people who share our culture. But let me say this: the jury was out. I said we're gonna watch and see. So then they went over to France, and I said, well, this is an indicator that I might be right because how do you, as a first term councilman, get sent on an international diplomacy trip? Like that just didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, okay, there's something clicking here, but I still kept the jury out on him. I still kept the jury out because I said, I don't want to presuppose something without a body of evidence. Well, the body is building, Mr. Floyd. We talked about what was happening with the Dust Bowl. We talked about, and we're still waiting to see what comes of all of that. We talked about what was happening with, it was something else in his district that was transpiring, and it was, we were calling it economic racism. But there's all these things that happen in his district that are against what his constituency is saying they wish to see. And instead of him, see, he's not a shrewd politician,
no, by
as you
no
like to
means,
say.
Madam Water. No,
Not at
by
all.
no way, shape, fashion, or form. Because again, man, I don't mean to cut you off, Chief,
You
but
good.
those people, when they walked in there, and they knew because we shared with them who the council attorney was going to be. They knew that the motion was going to pass. Even our legal representative was expressed to that they had that person support to vote against it. Even he was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because Malik Davis, when he called certain members in our district, raised the same question that the council raised. I
And
knew then.
here's what's interesting. When you start hearing, somebody told me this a long time ago. They said, listen to the commonality in the verbiage. And this was something that would always clue me in when I was sitting on council to who was talking to whom. Because when y'all start saying the same stuff, like Jonathan Charleston used to say, you got to get some wins on the board. Guess who else used to say that? And I didn't talk to Jonathan Charleston, but I heard it come from one of the council members who talked to him regularly. That person would tell me often, he said, I got to get some wins on the board. But you know who I did hear that coming from? The Mitches on the board and the DJ Harris on the board. I would hear that terminology. So I said, oh, this links you, because that's not common. That's not just something that people automatically say about their political experience. But Mr. Floyd, I'll say this. I will say this. If I were the wife of a politician who I was hearing in the community, because you know, women have a lot of influence over their husbands. Good wives have a lot of influence over their husbands. If I were the wife of a politician who was hearing the community say about my husband, he said this to me, and then turned around and did exactly what he said he wasn't going to do. He lied to me. You know what I would be saying to my husband? You are developing a reputation as a liar, and you need to fix it, because this does not set well with me. This doesn't bode well for me. I need for you to fix it.
Well, let me
Because
say
Mr.
this.
Floyd, it is my understanding that he specifically said something to you and then turned around. And I could be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can just nod if you don't want to correct me. But that he specifically said something to you and then turned around and did the opposite of what he said to you, which is
He
a deliberate lie.
and I'm gonna say this as we exit. T.
Hmm.
I will no longer have any faith in what that person say. And if you communicate with him as a citizen to him as it relates to a council action, don't count on him following through on it. Because if the pillar come from another member of the council, you are doomed. And God bless you, Madam Waddell. And I hope that the staff would look at that organizational chart
I
and
just got to
connect that
put it up one
line
more time. Let me
and
just put it
connect
up
that
one more
line
time.
so in that Doug can have a relationship with the council. As it is now, he is out there in the cloud. So
Yeah, because
God bless you.
we went from here, and I loved seeing the citizens at the top of the org chart. When I was on council, it made my heart smile because it let me know that I had somebody I answered to, you know, physically on this earth that could hold me accountable. But we went from here to here.
But
No citizens.
I think that the staff, rushed to post this, missed that line and the citizen up top. That's
So
that's
we
a
gonna give
rush
them.
to post.
So we gonna give them till next week to correct it. We'll come back and look again next week, see if it's corrected, and if not, then we can assume that it's deliberate.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm saying
sounds
that
good.
the staff rushed to post it. And I think that it's just a matter
But
of
Mr. Floyd, I gotta push back on that, because the last time I looked at this when I was doing my report, and I printed it, I have it upstairs. The last time I looked at this, the date on here was June of 2025. Now the date says current as of February 2026, which means since the last time I looked at, which was a week ago, in June, the last time it had been updated was June. So this has been updated in the last week to remove, look, to remove our marketing and communications personnel who has left his position, Lauren, and that there should have been some check or review at that time as to the rest of the accuracy of this, and it wasn't. So I have to push back on that. I have to say that this is deliberate, but we will know for
now,
sure come
Tish,
next
I'm just
Thursday.
saying we Fev, what I saw Monday night was we got an excellent communication team. I'm just saying, Tish, that it was rushed to post, that they forgot to know that the citizen elect the council member and that the council is managed by the city council. Okay. I'm just saying it was just a rush to post. That's all.
I'm gonna let you have that, but I'm gonna disagree. But what you what you got for our people, sir?
And now is that be careful when you talk with council person. Only believe 1% of what they say.
Yeah.
That's it.
I just want the Fayetteville City
1%.
to I just want the Fayetteville City Council to know that I love all of y'all, but I'm on your back. I'm on your back because if we are going to, if we're going to see any progress in this community, y'all got to do right by us. Y'all have got to do right by the people that live in this community. And the first step to making that right, anyone and one of y'all council members that's watching this, or city manager, if you're watching this, the first step to making this right is to fix that organizational chart. Fix
Well,
it.
and I know I mentioned T, so you can let people know if Malik Davis does not have a challenger
You
next
will
year,
challenge.
I will challenge him, and he will have a run of his life, Adam Wiley. God
And
bless
Mr.
you, and have a
Floyd,
wonderful
and
weekend.
Mr. Floyd, I'm gonna say this: if I see any of them names pop up on the mayor's ballot that we talked about, that ran the last time, that I did not feel would sufficiently represent our elected, you will see me on that ballot with you.
All right. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
they will have again the run of their life. And Mr. Floyd, I will do all I can to make sure that one of us, even if it's you and not me, ends up in that seat. What you want to leave our people with before we get out of here? Because we got to go.
Adam made it. Adam made it, Chief. Adam
Okay.
made it. God
So
bless you.
I'll
Have a
just,
wonderful weekend.
yep. And like I always say, there's no justice apart from righteousness, no righteousness apart from Jesus. If you want justice, you got to have Jesus. Like, share, subscribe, follow, tell a friend to tell a friend. And we're going to do our best to catch you on the next episode.